Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Good morning, sunshine, or whatever time of day it is for you. It is a beautiful day in Vancouver. The sun is out. I have not seen the sun for about a week. It is a good day though. Sunshine, new pattern release, a cup of tea and a beautiful Pink Ladies Rendale Designs mug. It's going to be a good day. Hello, and my name is Tracy. I am the podcaster of the Comfy Red Couch. Welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas 2021. And this is Festivities on the float. And I live on a float house in the Vancouver area. Right now, the water's a little bit choppy actually. I think the tide is just sort of fighting itself. I think it's trying to go out. I think we're going towards low tide, but I could be completely wrong. I have to check the tidal charts. Anyway, it is a beautiful day and I am very, very excited to share what is in this bag. It is another beauty by Helen Stewart, who is the designer of KnitVent 2021. She's also known as Curious Handmade. And let's start off sharing my yarns. For this project, I used Nora George yarns, and this was a shawl set. There were 3 yarns. I'm only using 2 of the 3. The other one is a mohair silk, and I'll use that for something pretty a little bit later on. Anyway, I have this gorgeous gray. It's a soft dove gray that looks silver, and because it's got silk in this yarn, it's got a lovely sheen to it. And my other color is this gorgeous pink that has little shots of cranberry in it. Can I find them? There we go. There's one right there. But it is knitting up beautifully. I am not finished this project. I'm at 15%, so I will be knitting along the rest with you. This project starts off with my main color, dove gray, a little section here of garter, and then it goes into some striping of the pink and gray. The next section, which I've got a tiny little bit more of the striping to do, the next section is going to be a lace section with beads. Silver lined beads is what I'm going to put on this one, and I think that's going to look absolutely spectacular. If I can, nice and shiny. I'm just using the Toho 8, so not too big, not too small, and I think that will be a nice compliment. But for this project, I'm surprised I didn't just dump a whole load of beads out because I had the lid off the beads. That wasn't so smart, was it? Anyway, put the lid on. I did drop one bead because on the Comfy Red Couch, Tracy has to drop something. There we go. That would have been fun. Beads everywhere. Sparkly beads. Beading a shawl is actually really quite easy, and if you've never beaded before, really simple. You just need a very, very small crochet hook. I am using a Clover number 10. This is a 0.75 millimeter crochet hook. And the great thing about when you are beading, I had a couple beads that I had loose here, is that if you've got a long enough crochet hook, you don't just have to do it one at a time. You can actually pop a few beads on at the same time. I believe I can pop 5 beads on the end of this needle, and you can knit away and then pop the bead on, and I will show you how easy it is to do that. When you get to a bead, really simple, what you want to do is you actually want to pop the bead onto the stitch before. With this bright sunshine, I'm not sure how well that's going to work. So you pop the stitch onto your crochet hook. You then slide the bead over your crochet hook and your yarn, like that. You then put your yarn back on your needle, and there is your bead on your yarn, and then you knit as you would, and then you have a beautiful bead popped on. So again, crochet hook with your bead, pop your stitch onto the crochet hook, slide the one bead onto the yarn. If you kind of drop it, you can always pick it up with your finger, like I just did. And there it is on the unknit stitch. You knit that stitch, and look at that. I've got 2 beads in my work. And now I get to tink that back, and that's okay. But really simple, and I'm using a Clover 0.75 millimeter crochet hook, and I am using Toho beads, silver lined, and these are, might have to pop my glasses on, TB8R21, and they are Toho 8. I think they're size 8 beads. So they're not big chunky beads, but they're not also tiny little seed beads. Seed beads, unfortunately, you will have a challenge getting it over your yarn as it is. I like the 8s just because they get that little bit of sparkle. I know a lot of people like bigger beads as well, because then you really see them. Personal choice, but anyway, this is the Ever After shawl. I am far from being happily ever after done this shawl, but I am going to enjoy knitting it with you, as I am going to enjoy knitting the Skyline shawl. And maybe as I knit the Skyline shawl, I'll just reminisce about my trip across Canada. Anyway, that is today's, oh, I'm not quite finished today's Vlogmas. I have one more thing I wanted to share today, and that is from my Tropical Advent Calendar, Day 2. And this was an Advent calendar that was made especially for me by Chris and Sam and Nikki. And today is a lovely little brown paper package. And I've heard that every other day is yarn, and the days in between are other little treats. Oh, and inside is another package with a very tropical looking sticker. I think I had that upside down. The clouds and the mountains. Today I'll be able to see the mountains, which will be nice. Haven't seen them, as I said, for about a week. And it's all a mystery. Very, very exciting. Ah, and a Nessie's Necessities pin with a toucan on it. So very, very tropical, to go along with my little ball of tropical yellow looking yarn from yesterday. So day 1, day 2, and I still have to figure out what I am going to knit with the tropical set. I think tomorrow when I look at the next color, hopefully I'll get a better idea. I do have a slight idea. I picked up a pattern last night, and maybe I will do that. We will see. Anyway, day 2, day 1, and 85% more to go after I tink back this little section of fake beads that I put on. And I think today is going to be a good day. Anyway, I am wishing you all the best for Vlogmas Day 2 or whatever day it is for you. And I hope to see you tomorrow for Day 3 of December. And I'm not sure what we'll get up to then. I did know today, release tomorrow. Who knows? Have a great day. Bye.
In excelsis Deo, Gloria, in excelsis Deo.
For the epilogue today, I thought I would try and do a close-up of beading. I have preloaded my Clover number 10 0.75 millimeter crochet hook with some beads, and I have knit to the stitch that I want to put the bead on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crochet hook. I am then going to pop the stitch off of my working needle, being careful not to drop any of the needles off of any of the needles. I'm then going to do a little bit of a pinch. Not sure if it's not focusing very well. There we are. A little bit of a pinch. And then I'm going to slide the bead onto the needle. I'm then going to pop my yarn with the bead on it back onto my working needle, put my crochet hook to the side, pick up my needles. I'm using a circular, and get my yarn untangled, and then knit that bead onto the fabric. So 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. The 5th one I want to put a bead on. Again, I just slide the stitch onto my crochet hook. I then snug it, take the bead that I want to slide on, slide it over the yarn. Should be a nice little loop there. I usually use my crochet hook unless I get it splitting of the plies happening. Pop it back on my needle, get my tension and all my yarns untangled, and knit. And now I get the fun part. I get to unknit this row with beads so that I can continue on and catch up to everybody else who's probably surpassed me on this test knit.